Hello, my friends. Today, I want to share an amazing story. This story is about how English helped me follow my dream, my passion, and find success. If you have big dreams, to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, businessperson, or anything, you need English. 100%. There is no question about it. English is spoken by 1.5 billion people. It is the language of travel, work, and the internet. If you don't speak English, you can miss big chances, like a good job, friends from other countries, or enjoying movies and books in English. But don't worry. You can start learning English today. You can join this big world. If I can learn English and reach my dream, you can do it too. My name is Emma, and I am from Brazil. I was born in a small town in Brazil. My family was not rich, not poor, just in the middle. We had what we needed, but no extra things. My parents worked very hard. My dad was a taxi driver. My mom was a school teacher. They always said, education is the way to success. Since I was a little girl, I had only one dream: I wanted to be a doctor. I still remember the day my life changed. I was 10 years old. My little brother was very sick. He had a high fever. We were all scared. My parents were crying. Then, a doctor came. He looked calm and kind. He smiled and said, "Don't worry. I will help your son." I watched him. He checked my brother, gave medicine, and spoke with care. After a few hours, the fever was gone. My brother was okay. That day, I said to myself, one day, I will be a doctor. I will help people. But as I got older, I found a big problem. To become a doctor, I needed English. 100%. All the books for doctors are in English. All the new studies are in English. Even in my country, doctors needed English, to learn, to talk, to work in hospitals. And my English was very bad. I went to a public school. They taught only a little English. I knew simple words like hello and how are you. But when I saw a full sentence, I did not understand. I remember one day at school. My teacher asked me, "Emma, can you read this sentence?" I looked at the book. The words looked strange. I could not read. I could not understand. I wanted to cry. "I don't know, miss," I said softly. The class laughed. That day, I went home and sat alone in my room. I thought, how can I become a doctor if I can't read one sentence in English? I felt very sad. But then, something happened. The big change. One night, my dad came home tired. He sat beside me and asked, "Emma, what's wrong? You look sad these days." I looked at him and said, "Papa, I want to be a doctor, but my English is bad. Without English, I can't study medicine." My dad sat quiet for some time. Then he said, "If English is the problem, learn it. Go to a place where people speak English every day." I was surprised. "But Papa, we don't have the money." He smiled and said, "We don't have much, but we have enough. Your dream is important." That night, my parents and I talked about the best place to learn English. Why did we pick Canada? Everyone speaks English. I had to speak it every day. Great schools. Canada has good schools for learning English. Friendly people. People in Canada are nice to students from other countries. Cheaper. The USA and UK were too expensive. Canada was better for us. It was a hard choice. We were not rich. My parents had some savings, but not much. They made a big sacrifice. They used almost all their savings. They paid for my flight, English school, and first months in Canada. Before I left, my mom held my hand and said, "Emma, we are giving you everything we have. Promise me, don't give up. I had tears in my eyes. I hugged her and said, I promise, Mama. Then, with one suitcase, little money, and a big dream, I flew to Canada. The first shock, landing in Canada. When I landed in Toronto, Canada, I felt like I was in another world. The weather was freezing. In Brazil, it was warm. Here, my hands were like ice. The food was strange. I missed my mom's home-cooked Brazilian food. People were kind but spoke very fast. The biggest problem, English. At the airport, a man said, "Hey, do you need a taxi?" I was confused. I did not understand. I just smiled and said, yes. He asked, where to? I didn't know what he said. My brain stopped. I showed him the address on my phone. That night, in my small room, I cried. What am I doing here? I can't understand anything. How will I live here? For the first time, I felt truly alone. My first day at English school. Next day, I went to my English school. The teacher smiled and said, "Welcome, everyone. Let's say who we are." When it was my turn, I stood up. My hands were shaking. I said, "My name Emma. I from Brazil." I wanted to say more, but my mind was empty. My words did not come out. The teacher smiled, but some students laughed. I sat down and felt small. That night, I made a decision. No matter how hard it is, no matter my mistakes, I will learn English. I made a plan. I promised myself, I will do everything to speak English well. That was the start of my English journey. Life in Canada was not easy. I remember my first weeks in Canada. It felt like I was on another planet, exciting, but also scary. In my country, I understood everything. Here, I felt like a baby learning to talk. Before I tell you how I got better at English, let me share some funny things I saw in Canada. No school uniforms. In Brazil, we wore uniforms. In Canada, students wore anything, even pajamas. No touching. In my country, we hug and kiss on the cheek. In Canada, people like space. If you hug someone without asking, it feels strange. Weather changes fast. 1 minute it's sunny. The next, snow. Self-checkout. In stores, you scan your own things. No cashier. People say sorry for everything, even when you step on their foot. Big food portions. I ordered a small meal. It looked like food for 3 people. But the hardest part was the English. People talked so fast and used slang I never heard. In school, we learned textbook English. But people said things like, "Wanna grab a coffee? Want a coffee? I'm down for that. I agree. That's so lit. That's great." I felt like I never studied English before. The hardest part, speaking. On the second day in class, I felt very nervous. The teacher gave us a writing task. I felt happy. I can do this, I thought. But when she gave back my paper, it had many red marks. She said, "Emma, your writing is okay, but your sentences are strange. You think in Portuguese and translate to English." I felt upset. Speaking was harder. The teacher asked me a question. I knew the answer in my head. But when I tried to talk, no words came out. I felt like crying. Will I ever speak English well? My plan to learn English. I did not want to fail. I knew, if I don't get better, I can't be a doctor. So, I made a plan. The headphone trick, talking to myself outside. I was scared to speak. So, I wore headphones and walked around the city, like I was on a phone call. But I was talking to myself in English. I'm walking on the street. The sky is blue. That lady wears a red coat. Now I enter a cafe. I will order a coffee. It helped me think in English and speak without fear. B. Learn 3 words every day. Every day, I learned 3 new English words. Then, I made 1 sentence with each word. C. No more subtitles. I watched English movies with subtitles at first. But I saw I was reading, not listening. So, I turned off the subtitles and tried to listen. It was hard, but I started to hear words and phrases more clearly. My first real talk in English. One day, I went to a coffee shop. I told myself, today, I will talk in English. At the counter, the woman said, "Hi, what can I get you today?" My heart was beating fast. "Don't be scared, Emma. You can do this." I said, "I would like a cappuccino, please." She smiled and said, "With almond milk or regular milk?" I understood her. I said, "Regular milk, please." She gave me the coffee and said, "Here you go. Have a great day." I said, "You too." It was a small talk, but I felt like a winner. That day, I learned something big. English is not about being perfect. It's about being brave. Living in Canada was another challenge. Learning English was one challenge, but living in Canada was another. Canada is not cheap. I spent this much every month. Rent for one small room, $800, I lived with someone to save money. Food, $250, I learned to cook at home to spend less. Bus pass, $120, I used buses in Toronto. Phone, $50. English class, $500 every month. I worked in a small cafe part-time to pay my bills. It was very hard. I woke up at 6 a.m., went to class, worked in the cafe, came home tired, and still studied English at night. I missed my family. I missed home. But when I felt like quitting, I thought about my parents' hard work. I could not quit. The biggest change in my English. The biggest change happened when I stopped changing English into my language in my head. In the beginning, my brain always did this. I hear English. I change it into my language in my head. I think of an answer in my language. I change it back to English. It was very slow. But after 4 months of hearing English every day, something great happened. One day, I went to the store. The cashier asked, "Do you need a bag?" Without thinking, I said, "No, I have one." "Thanks." For the first time, I didn't change the sentence in my head. I was thinking in English. My tips for learning English. If you are having a hard time with English, here are my tips. Speak every day. Even alone, talk with headphones like I did. Stop changing English in your head. Start thinking in English. Talk to native speakers. Even if you feel shy. Use English around you. Change your phone, movies, and songs to English. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes help you learn. Most important, don't quit. The moment that changed everything. I still remember the day when I felt, wow, I can speak English. But before I tell that, let me share more about my life in Canada, my problems, strange things, and how I started speaking like a native. I was in Canada for 6 months. My English got better. I understood people more. I could order food without fear. I could talk to classmates. But I had one big fear. Talking to native speakers. Why? They spoke fast, used slang, and I felt dumb when I didn't understand. I stayed quiet. When someone spoke to me, I just said, yes, or yeah, even when I didn't understand. But I knew, to be fluent, I had to stop being scared. So, I made a big plan. One morning, I went to my favorite coffee shop. I told myself, Emily, today you will talk to a native speaker. Don't run away. I stood in line, nervous. Then a girl beside me smiled and said, "Ugh, this line is so long, right?" I froze. This was my moment. I took a breath and said, "Yeah, it's really long." Then she said, "I come here every morning and it's always like this." My brain got scared. What do I say? But I didn't think too much. I said, "Oh, really? I just moved here, so I don't know." She smiled and asked, "Oh, cool. Where are you from?" And we talked. For the first time, I didn't change English in my head. I was not scared. I just spoke. After that, something changed in me. I knew, I can do this. That moment gave me confidence, and confidence was the key. Getting better at English. Now that I felt confident, I wanted to speak like a native. So, I started something crazy, the shadowing method. I copied everything I heard. When I watched TV, I paused. Said the sentence like the actor. Tried to say it with the same voice. Example. I hear, "Oh my God, that's insane." I pause and say it the same way, "Oh my God, that's insane." I copied voice, speed, and feelings. I did this for many hours each day. At first, it felt strange, but after 1 month, my speaking got much better. I also wrote my English mistakes in a notebook. Each time I made a mistake, I wrote it and corrected it. Example. Wrong, I am agree with you. Right, I agree with you. I checked my mistakes every day. So, I stopped saying them again. Making friends in Canada. This part was hard, but I pushed myself to make Canadian friends because that helps you learn fast. Here is what I did. I went to free events for students. I used apps to talk with Canadians who wanted to learn my language. We helped each other. I talked to people at work. I stopped being shy and started chatting. And guess what? The more I talked with Canadians, the better my English became. Life was still hard. Even when my English got better, life was not easy. I was tired all the time. Studying, working, and cooking was too much. I missed my family. I could not visit because flights were expensive. I had little money. Even after 6 months, I was still poor. One day, I had only $5 in my bank. I sat in my small room and cried. Why is this so hard? Did I make a mistake? Should I go home? Then I remembered why I came. I didn't come this far to quit. So, I wiped my tears and said, no. I will make this work. And I did. My dream came true. Imagine this. You wake up in a nice apartment, look out at the big city, drink coffee, and think, I did it. I became the person I wanted to be. That is my life now. But 5 years ago, I was a poor student, bad at English, and lost in a new country. To study medicine, I needed to pass the IELTS test, and it was scary. The reading part had hard, long texts. The speaking part made me feel nervous. The writing part was hard too. I studied every day. I practiced writing. I recorded my speaking. I read hard medical texts. On test day, I was shaking. But I told myself, Emily, you worked hard for this. You can do it. I took a breath and gave my best. 1 week later, I got my score. I passed. I held the paper and cried. I did it. I really did it. That was the day I knew, nothing can stop me. With that score, I got into a top medical university in Canada. But the real work was just starting. The books were in high-level English. Teachers used hard words. I had to write perfect reports and give talks. It was harder than anything before. But I remembered. If I learned English, I can do anything. So, I didn't stop. I recorded classes and listened every night. I made flashcards for hard words. I joined study groups and explained things in English every day. I worked hard, and I finished school as Dr. Emily Clark. I walked on stage, got my diploma, and looked at the sky. This is for you, Mom and Dad. I made it. My reward, a life I never dreamed of. After school, I got my first job at a big hospital in Toronto. My first paycheck, $8,800. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I remembered the time I had $5 and had to choose between food and rent. Now, I can buy anything I want. But money is not the best part. The best part is saving lives. One day, a little girl came to the hospital. She was scared and crying. I held her hand and said, "Don't worry, sweetie. I will help you." Her mom looked at me with tears and said, "Thank you, doctor." That moment changed me. I was not just an English student. I was not just a learner. I was a doctor. And I earned it. My final words to you. Now, listen to me. Some people say, be happy with who you are. I don't agree. Don't accept being weak. Don't accept being average. Change for yourself, not for others. Because here's the truth. No one will save you. Not your parents. Not your partner. Only you can change your life. When I was in pain, I could say, English is too hard. I don't have money. I'm not smart. But I didn't. I looked in the mirror and said, Emily, stop making excuses. Work hard. And that's what I did. If you're still watching, if you're still here, it means you want more from life. So here is the truth. Learn English like your life depends on it, because maybe it does. If you want a great job, you need English. Stop being lazy. Wake up. Read books. Watch English videos. Do the work. Go into scary places. Talk to strangers. Make mistakes. Feel shy. That's how you grow. Today, I live in a beautiful place in downtown Toronto. I wake up feeling proud. I drive my dream car. I travel the world. I help my parents. And I love my life. But remember, I was not born lucky. I worked for this life. And you can too. You have two choices. Close this video and stay the same. Make excuses. Dream but never act. Or, start working right now. Learn English. Get better. Change your life. It's your choice. If you choose the second option, then click subscribe. Like this video. Let's start your journey today. Because when you become your best self, it feels like the world is in your hands. Now go. Change your life.